Foxgloves are one of the easiest and most rewarding biennials that we can grow, and if we sow them now, we're going to have towering spires of flowers next summer. Today we're going to talk about foxgloves and I'm going to show you exactly how I sow mine. Hi everyone, my name's Annette and welcome back to Cottoverdi. So the foxgloves in my garden are sort of fading a little bit now. They're going over and they're setting seed. And so this is the perfect time to be thinking about sowing fresh seed for next year's foxgloves. They really are great for pollinators and they add such height and softness to a border. I couldn't be without them. I'm going to talk a little bit about why I love foxgloves so much, and then I'm going to show you how I sow my seed. I honestly can't imagine my garden without foxgloves. They really are one of those flowers that just bring a sense of abundance. They add height and movement and a sense of maturity, and suddenly the garden feels layered rather than flat. Very few flowers are as iconic as foxgloves. If I asked you to picture an English cottage garden, you would probably picture roses growing over an arch with a scattering of foxgloves beneath. And they really are that classical cottage garden favourite. They've got these gorgeous tubular bell-shaped flowers and they come in a variety of colours. Foxgloves attract a multitude of wildlife. In particular, the bees adore them, and one of the joys of summer is watching bees disappear inside those tubular flowers and enjoying all the nectar in there. And I know that kids love watching that too. The other thing that is fantastic about foxgloves is that I have found that they are unbothered by slugs and snails. Slugs and snails do not like them, possibly because they're poisonous to us. Maybe they're poisonous to slugs and snails too, and deer and rabbits don't eat them either. They're really unbothered. And also I have never seen a foxglove infested with aphids. Never. So I don't think anything particularly likes them. Foxgloves, as I said, they are poisonous, so wash your hands after touching them, wash your hands after sowing the seeds. You don't want to ingest anything. They've obviously got something about them that just wards everything off apart from the pollinators and the bumblebees. The common foxglove is a biennial or short-lived perennial, which basically means that when we sow it this year, it's going to form a lovely rosette of foliage, and then next year, as the weather starts to warm up, that's when it will send up its flower spikes. And then after it's flowered and it's set seed and scattered its seed everywhere, that flower spike dies back and then so does the foliage. Very rarely will it continue for a second year. Now you may find that there are plants exactly where you had foxgloves last year, but that's because the seed has fallen and new rosettes have formed and then you've got another flower next year. So that's what a biennial is. It would just work its way to flowering over the space of 2 years. There are a few varieties, some of which I'm sowing today, like the Camelot series, that if we sow them early enough in the year, they should flower the same year. Foxgloves are rampant self-seeders. They will drop their seed everywhere, and I just love seeing a sprinkling of foxgloves around my garden wherever the seeds happen to land. Some people will pull out these seedlings. I almost never do. I love the surprise of where they're going to land. I love seeing the unusual combinations that they create. The only time I'll move them is if they land on the edge of a border and, really close to the edge of a border, then I know the plant's going to get too big and it's likely to flop over and it might need supporting. So I'll dig up that seedling in the late winter. As soon as the ground's warm enough, I'll dig up the seedling and move it to a more appropriate location, just further into the border normally. I don't tend to worry about where exactly I move it. I just move it away from the edge of the border. I don't love them on the edge of the borders because they kind of get in the way of edging the border and mowing the lawn and things like that. Another thing I love about foxgloves is they don't feel formal. Not even the named varieties feel formal. It's always just a very cottage garden vibe, and they are super adaptable. They will thrive in full sun or part shade. They're really well suited to dappled shade. in nature, most of them like to be sort of on a woodland's edge. They do prefer moist, well-drained soil with lots of organic matter. You can imagine where they're found in nature on a woodland's edge, there would be lots of rotted down fallen leaves, and that's the kind of soil that they really enjoy. But I find that they really are adaptable to most locations, and I often move seedlings from the edge of a border right up against a wall where they're going to get mostly shade, and they still thrive. Some foxgloves are going to need to be staked in order to keep the blooms upright, but they really do draw your eye upwards, and every garden needs different levels, and foxgloves really do help to create that layered effect. And foxgloves combine really well with other plants in our gardens. They look particularly good with roses, and they flower at the same time. I really like them with white or pink roses, and the pinky foxgloves like Sutton's apricot, they look really good with the blues of pulmoniums and things like that. I also really like them where they self-seed amongst our Elaeagnus quicksilver, and you get this shot of colour popping up through the silvery foliage. I think that looks really stunning. I absolutely love my self-seeded foxgloves, but they are primarily purple and I just want a bit of variety. So that's why I'm sowing seeds today, so that I have that variety of colour in my garden. And we sow the seeds now in the summer so that the plants have got a chance to grow and establish as a nice sized plug plant that we can then plant out into our borders in October or November. And then they have a few months, quite a few months, to be able to establish themselves and have really good root systems so they can flower abundantly for us next year. So this whole process is really easy and straightforward, and it takes a couple of months, but it just gives you that boom next year when maybe you feel like your garden needs something in between the other showstoppers. Foxgloves are definitely one of those plants. Did you know that each flower spike of a foxglove apparently can produce between 1 and 2 million seeds? I find that astonishing. It's probably why they're not very expensive to buy. But if you want to save your own seed, it's so easy. Just don't deadhead all your foxglove flower spikes. You probably only need to leave one. And if you leave it and let it dry out a little bit, then you can tip all your seeds onto a piece of paper and funnel them into a paper envelope and store them. And then, hey presto, you've got free seeds and free plants next year. If you want to cut your foxgloves for flower arranging inside, then do it when just the bottom few flowers are open and the top ones haven't opened yet, and then you'll have the longest vase life, and they should last up to 2 weeks in a vase. So I'll just take you through the different varieties I'm sowing today. I'm sowing polka dot polly, which grows to 1 metre tall, and it's a deep apricot pink with a pale yellow lip. I'm also sowing a variety called Sunset, and this grows to 1.2 metres tall. That's like 4 foot. And it's a rusty browny orange with glowing copper throats. I am sowing one from the Dotty series. I'm sowing Dotty Peach. This grows to 75 centimetres tall, and it's spotty blushed peach with delicately spotted centres. I'm sowing Sutton's apricot, which is a firm favourite, and it's a soft pinky peach colour. It really is beautiful, and this grows to 1.5 metres tall. Mine have never grown that tall, but that's what it says on my seed packet. I am sowing the white version. It's just a pure white Alba, and that grows to 1.5 meters tall. I'm sowing pink gin. My pink gin, last time I sowed them, did not do well, and I don't, that's just me not caring for them particularly well. These grow to 1.2 meters tall, and they're a blushy pink that fade to white, so you kind of get a mixture of colours because the bottom of the flower spike will be white and then you'll have the blushy pink at the top. It's gorgeous. I'm sowing Camelot Lavender, which is from the Camelot series that should flower in the first year, but I'm not sowing them early enough in the year for that to happen. So mine will flower next year, but if we were to sow them in the spring, then they should flower, or late winter, they should flower this year. But that won't happen for me. So the lavender is a lilac white with deep maroon speckles. I'm also sowing the cream version from the Camelot series. So I'm sowing Camelot Cream, which is just a lovely sumptuous cream colour. And I'm sowing from the Dalmatian series, Dalmatian Peach, which is a lovely soft apricot-y peach colour. And this grows to 50 centimetres tall. So I didn't tell you about the Camelot. So the Camelots both grow to 1 metre tall. So Dalmatian Peach is definitely the shortest variety I'm sowing today. So I'm just going to get on and sow them now. You're possibly wondering why we're sowing them now. Like, what is it special about this time of year? It is the beginning of July. So we're sowing the foxglove seeds now because nature is telling us to. So the foxgloves in the garden are going over and the seeds are ripening on the plants and they're dropping their seeds. So we're timing our seed sowing perfectly with what nature is also doing. And as I'm sowing the seeds now in July, I'm already imagining what my garden's going to look like next year with all these different varieties that I'm sowing. So I'm using ordinary multi-purpose peat-free compost to sow my seeds, and I'm using if you've been with me for a while, you'll know that I use these 8-cell trays, and that's what I'm using today for the foxgloves. So we just scatter them onto the surface of the soil and we press them in very lightly. We don't bury the seeds at all. They're really tiny and they don't want to be buried. They enjoy light to germinate. So that's another reason why we don't want to bury them. I'm not even going to use vermiculite over the top. I am going to make sure the compost stays moist. That's really important, especially in the heat wave that we're having. So I'm going to leave mine in a shaded area, not in dark shade, just an area that doesn't get any sun because they do need light. I'll show you where I'm going to leave them. It's kind of round the corner of our sheds, but that's where I'm going to leave them to germinate, and they should germinate in 2 to 3 weeks. They really do prefer it to be between sort of 18 and 20 degrees, and you know, we're hitting highs of about 32 degrees centigrade I'm talking about. So we're hitting some highs at the moment. So I do need to try and keep them cool, which is why I'm making sure they stay in the shade. Well, that's this year's foxglove seed sowing done. I can't wait to see them all in bloom next summer. If you're sowing foxgloves, let me know which varieties you're sowing. I'd be really interested to know. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.